Welcome to Houston, Texas. Tonight, the Houston Headhunters protecting the #1 seed in the SFL, trying to secure it ahead of next week's season finale against Bossier City. Meanwhile, the two-time defending champs, the three-time SFL champion Mexico City Aztecs, want to take that away from Houston and make things real interesting in the South in the final week of the season. There's a lot on the line tonight in H-Town. Good evening and welcome to the Monday Night Spectacular. Alongside Eddie Gage, Ron Haynes, and DJ Kilgannon in the stats truck, Tyler Falk and Chris Curtis are back at VFN HQ. Charles Doherty and Cameron Irvine are here with you tonight for the call of MNS. Good evening, Charles. I can't think of a better way to end Week 15.
Oh, definitely. I mean, 1 versus 2 in the division. I think we're going to see a lot of, these are two of the best running teams in the league. I think we're going to see a lot of running, maybe not a lot of scoring. I'm not sure. Every time I say that, I wind up getting proved wrong. But I think these defenses are going to have to kind of stuff every player in the box and try and stop them from running.
It should be a show-stopping evening, and it's going to start with Sonny J's leg. The ball's on the tee, and the hand is in the air. Houston, kick it. We are underway. From the goal line, the ever-dangerous Jared Dumas on the return to the 22-yard line. His sidekick, Jason Bartley, and him have combined for 4 kick return touchdowns this season. Houston's got 2 of their own via the punt return game of DR Sim. We'll see him in a moment. But right now it's Jordan Sipe in his 7th season in the SFL, 6th with the Mexico City Aztecs, last season's MVP. 5'11", 215. He has had plenty to say with his arm and his legs this season so far. First down and 10, Mexico City will start with a pass. This is Sipe down the middle. That pass is broken up and incomplete. That'll bring up second down and 10, pass intended for Terrazas.
Bill Henry was wide open on that route, but hey, the wide receiving core for the Aztecs, man, they are greyhounds, blazing fast, going up against the Headhunters. Solid secondary, but man, that secondary is going to be tired having to keep up with those greyhounds tonight.
Second down, 10 yards to go for the Aztecs off the incompletion. Everybody's manned up at the top of the screen for Sipe, but he's still able to deliver the ball to Bill Henry, his tight end. Good enough for our first move of the chains of the evening.
Henry went up into the went up to his quarterback last play and said, "Man, you got to look at me. I was wide open in that same area on the last play as well." So good up on Sipe for seeing him this time.
Sipe, Jacob Morrison, Ray Bentley, Buford Van Dam in the backfield. Jason Bartley, Jonas Adobe, Noe Terrazas, and Jared Dumas at receiver. The tight end is Bill Henry on the line. Ovayanda, Sitlamina Salotto, Greg Forrest, Tatamani Supremo, and Ogden Foundy is Jacob Morrison takes the handoff to pick up 2 yards.
I mean, you're naming off all these names, and it sounds like you're speaking a foreign language.
Spanish.
You do such a good job at it, Cam.
We all know that Spanish is definitely not my first language. I learned that a couple championships ago. We'll never attempt again. 2nd and 8 as Dumas goes in motion. In his 2nd season, both with the Aztecs, made the All-Star team last year as well. Sipe looking up top to Terrazas, and that pass is incomplete. This Houston secondary has been active. Let's meet him. At corner, Dustin Sakasi, John Barnhart, and Kai Cash. Safeties are Guy Incognito, Allingham III, and Chris Henry. Linebackers, Jason Peace, Garrett Evans, one Mississippian, Blake DeCraze. On the line, Mac Dre, Don Rohr, the Hall of Famer Alex Dominguez, and Anthony Stover. Third down, Jordan Sipe fires short. That pass caught by Terrazas, but it is well short of the first down. Wrapped up by Peace. Houston's defense with the stand.
The defense for Houston showing a lot of zones so far, and on that third down, smartly called, it looked like maybe soft coverage in the middle, and there wasn't anything open downfield. Had to dump it off and see if the Mexico receiver could get it past the first down, but not so easy against that Headhunter defense.
This kick will land at the 11, and this is DR Sim, 2nd in the league in punt returns with a pair on the season, getting the ball up to the 18-yard line. John Lakeman, the #1 QBR in the league at 90.2, a positive touchdown to interception ratio, 3rd in the league in completion percentage, over 2,000 yards on the season with 2 games to go.
And that positive touchdown interception ratio is very rare in the SFL.
Hoping to keep it that way tonight as Mexico City shows nickel. Lakeman in the silver helmets, red jerseys and silver pants tonight. Just throws a pick. Merrick Itera's 70th of his career. 25 down to the 20-yard line of Houston on Lakeman's first throw of the game.
And I think that was Itera's season as well. Just great coverage from the snap. Was looking at the eyes of the quarterback and was able to close that distance right at the last second and able to bring it in for the interception. I mean, that's the way you respond for Mexico City.
Our signal was poor there, Charles. How many picks this season for Itera?
I think this was his first one.
Congrats to Merrick Itera, who adds the 17th interception of Mexico City's season to his resume. That is 11th most in the league, and now Mexico City essentially on their first drive in the red zone, 2 minutes into the ball game. Sipe dropping a throw, clean pocket, takes a check down. Ray Bentley, broken tackle, gets 7 on the play. You don't see that a lot out of quarterbacks, Charles. Just take the check down, just take the easy stuff.
Yep. Well, I mean, when you're dumping it off to Ray Bentley, I mean, he's used to catching that ball, and his what he does with it afterwards is just purely magic.
Second down and 3. The toss out to Morrison. In trouble, big time. Forward progress will be a loss of a yard. Chris Henry comes over and gets the TFL.
Yeah, I mean, finally, Henry, last defender, brought him down. I mean, that was great coverage, read, and discipline by the defense for Houston.
Third down and 4. Sipe fires. Touchdown, Bill Henry on a pickup of 21. Mexico City's on the board first.
Well, another route where Henry's open in the middle. I mean, maybe not so much on that play. A lot of that was the accuracy side, but wow, they really made them, pay for that turnover. And that's what you want to see out of a playoff team. What are you going to do when you get that opportunity, when you get that interception or that fumble? Are you going to capitalize with points? And Mexico City showed us how it was done.
Jason Peace, Charles, lightning in a bottle last season. He was terrific. Led the league in interceptions at the linebacker position. This season, only 2, and he was a little late getting back there on Bill Henry on that play.
Yeah, I mean, especially playing the Aztecs. I told you about their fast receivers, but Henry knows how to find that gap in zone coverage, and you got to have your head on the swivel and be able to have that closing speed.
There's a couple reasons why that touchdown was shocking for Mexico City. Number 1, Houston gives up a league-low 7.3 points per game at home. They're number 1 in the league in scoring defense in general, 13.7. They also only allow 1 red zone touchdown a game. So Mexico City has hit their quota here tonight in the first couple of minutes.
All right, well, good night, everybody.
Now, wouldn't that be something, Charles, if the Aztecs never scored again? That would be very surprising.
You done did it.
First and 10 at the 30. Mike St. Green's going to go in motion as the Headhunters start in empty. Lakeman dropping a throw. Lakeman's pass is tipped and incomplete. That was John Fowler, who leads the league in passes defended now with 15 on the season.
It's amazing. He is the leader on that defense. He just, that center of the field in the medium range, he owns it.
Second down and 10. We'll see if the Houston Headhunters try to establish the run a little bit as Lakeman has started 0 for 2. They will hand that ball off to Tino Sosa, who is an all-star in the making. Pickup of 8 yards to set up a 3rd down and 2. Sosa never made the all-star team in his 4 seasons, and with runs like that over Jeffrey Daggs, he's well on his way.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best this season, one of the best running backs in the league. And man, when he gets fired up, the Sosa train, man, it's hard to stop.
Baloo Scott on a 3rd down and 2 in the backfield. Will take the toss. Scott is stopped in the open field by Gerard Brody. I was so surprised Brody was able to bring him down, or bring her down rather, that the play ended so abruptly. 4th down for Houston.
I think that, you know, for defense on both sides, they're going to have to be creative and bring cornerbacks in, safeties, you know, punters, whatever, up against that line trying to stop the run.
On the return, a pretty good one from Dumas up to the 30-yard line. So back out comes Sight, 4 of 6 for 43 yards and a touchdown on the what felt like just a simple opening drive after that interception by the defense on the first play.
Every time I do a Mexico City game, I always say that what I love about Sipe, other than the numbers he puts up, is he's not your cookie cutter quarterback, you know, at 6'8" and 250. He's 5'11", 215, and he is hanging with, the tall monsters in the league.
This is a toss to Ray Bentley, and Bentley will drag a defender forward. That is Kai Cash for a pickup of 8 yards.
You have options here. I wouldn't blame them for running it again. You pick one of your 3, Morrison, Bentley, or Van Dam. They've all shown an ability to succeed on that short down running.
2nd down and 2 for Mexico City out of the eye. That's Buford Van Dam at the fullback position. Watch for his block. Morrison is going to pick up a 1st down. There is an injured player on the field. It is Jacob Morrison of Mexico City.
Oh, wow. No. If hopefully he gets back into the game here, but man, that could, prove to be a pretty big determining factor late in the game.
And Morrison already with 3 carries, Charles, so he figured to be probably a decent part of this Aztec offensive attack here tonight. That's a blow for Mexico City.
Definitely a blow. Maybe they got to lean a little harder on both Bentley and Van Dam at this point.
3rd down and 1, 7 in the box for Houston. Handoff, Bentley got it, 1st down. He is quickly ushered to the ground by Guy Incognito in his 5th season, but Mexico City will continue with their offensive drive.
And so far, the offensive line is opening holes for the running back. If I was the Houston Headhunters, I would try and hit the right side of that line. I think that's could potentially be a spot you could capitalize on.
Oh, the pass is picked off by Chris Henry, and Mexico City, Houston able to get a turnover on the board as well here in the 1st quarter.
Yeah, the pocket completely broke down. Let's see this on the replay here. Well, maybe. Yeah, and it was just a heads-up play there by Henry. He saw the pocket breaking down, knew that the quarterback was in distress, and ran up close to the line to see if he could cause a turnover.
Off the deflection, Henry's off to a great start tonight, a TFL and an interception. The pressure supplied by Don Rohr up front for Ron Haynes, as Houston will now start in Mexico City territory. Lakeman dropping a throw. It's wide open. Mike St. Green. One man there to save the touchdown. That was Max Jackson. But St. Green all alone. That's probably the easiest catch he's had of his career.
Oh, yeah. And how many times do we see that situation where the quarterback gets the big eyes and drops it, but not Mike St. Green? He's been in that situation before and capitalized on it. I just can't believe how wide open he was.
St. Green all time has moved into the top 50, 8,747 yards, his 37th, 58 touchdowns, his 38th. He's also top 50 in receptions with 612 in his career. 1st down in the red zone. The handoff on a little draw. Tino Sosa picking up 5. Wrapped up by Liam Ryan. The rest of the Aztec defense includes Saron Yates the 4th, Skylar Kingsley, Chance Wall, and Dan Tritz on the line. John Fowler, Qualzinho Leah, John Osiris at linebacker, Gerard Brody, Miranda Dumas, Liam Ryan, Merrick Itera, the Hall of Famers, Jeffrey Daggs and Max Jackson back at the safety positions. 2nd down and 5. Toss play out to Baloo Scott. Baloo Scott around the right side. Daggs saves the touchdown, but not the 1st down. And goal to go at the 1.
Yeah, it started out with good blocking on the edge there. Thought Scott was going to get brought down short of the line marker, but was able to power through that and just saving tackle from a touchdown. Great heads-up play by the Mexico City defense of another play.
That was a 31-yard catch for Mike St. Green per Eddie Gage in the stats truck. First down and goal at the 1-yard line. 3:35 to go in the first. Hand off the fullback. Touchdown! Houston punches it in thanks to a touchdown vulture, number 30. Oh, gosh. It definitely was not prepared for this one. Obafemi Ayanbajo with the score.
Oh, who scored, Cam?
Steve Wilkes.
Oh, hey. I mean, that was a great way to cap off that drive. They weren't expecting the fullback up the middle. I mean, but that line for Houston, set the path, and that fullback was able to put some points up.
Extra point for Sonny J is good, and both teams capitalize off of interceptions, turn them into touchdowns on short fields, and we're all tied up at 7.
Houston had to do that. I mean, this is their house. They had to respond to Mexico City putting those points up.
Kick is away, and a deep kick will be down in the end zone. You see the updated playoff picture. We'll talk about it more at the half, Charles, but what's at stake tonight? Houston can win the South with a win. They also can get the number 1 seed with a win after Pittsburgh was upset by Minnesota. It's getting ugly down there, 8 through 16, separated by 1 game.
It's amazing. This is my favorite part of the season. I mean, every game matters and just shows you their playoff potential.
Pitch to Bentley. Houston was ready for it. Loss of a yard. Second TFL of the night for Houston. That one belongs to Kai Cash.
Yeah, let's see what Mexico City does here on 2nd and 11. I always love it when they use the halfback out of the backfield in the passing game. Let's see if they go to that.
That's a deep ball to Terraces behind the defense of Barnhart. Now in a foot race, being closed down by Incognito, who missed him, and Barnhart has to tackle him from behind all the way at the 8-yard line.
Wow, right at the last second. Thought he was going to get brought down, did that little spin move, and was able to add at least another 10 to it. That was amazing. It caught the defense. It was just the wide receiver Terraces against the Barnhart, who was in deep coverage, and just made a move on him and got separation, and they were able to keep him from the end zone. But man, what a play.
Terraces, 2 catches for 77 yards. That one goes for 73, but did not reach the end zone. Instead, 7 yards away, the handoff to Bentley. He sidesteps through and scores. Touchdown, Aztecs. They retake the lead.
1-2 punch, Cam. Terraces on the deep pass. Doesn't make it in the end zone. Okay, well, let's bring Bentley out and just ram it down your throat and get 6 on the board.
My goodness. The both teams showing their explosivity here tonight. And Houston's in for a fight. They have not lost since the convention in Baltimore. They're winners of 9 in a row. And Mexico City already proving why they are going to be different tonight. 3-play, 80-yard drive. Houston hasn't played a bunch of cupcakes here at home. They beat Vancouver here in this building, and they also beat Arizona in this building, and in both of those games gave up just 10 points. Aztecs up to 14. Noe Terraces, by the way, poor Noe, 7 straight games without a touchdown. His last touchdown was August 4th, and he needs 1 more touchdown, Charles, for 50 on his career. What's a guy got to do to get in the end zone around here?
Didn't he do that when? Did we do that game where he got his last touchdown?
Yeah, you're right. It was against Denver in that ugly blowout.
Gosh, I think I was. Cam, you possessed me for a second.
That's just a brilliant memory. Sosa gets nothing. You know, that shows, Charles, that you've got plenty of good years left in you. We don't have to worry about replacing you anytime soon.
Don't send me to the glue factory yet, Cam. I'm just shocked that you used the word explosivity.
Yeah?
Have you ever used that like talking with your wife at dinner?
So Fowler with the pick! only 1 on the season, leading the league in passes defended, and finally gets his mitts on his second.
That was huge. You know, we talk about both of these those middle linebackers on both teams. They just own the middle of that field. They're cagey veterans. Hey, you throw it in their area. If you don't have a crisp pass and make a quick decision, and man, you're going to pay for it.
Pass intended for Mike St. Green, who was definitely not open on that one. 1st and 10 at the Headhunter 27-yard line. Mexico City again taking over in Houston territory, and Bentley nearly scored again, picking up 9.
You know what's scary for that Houston defense is Bentley looks like he's got an extra spring in his step tonight. The offensive line's been blocking great, but man, he's hitting that edge very quickly.
Up to 26 yards on 5 carries, but Jacob Morrison is still out of the ball game. The backup to Morrison will get the carry and the first down. That's John Simon picking up the first down for the Aztecs, who are up to 144 yards of offense.
And so far, the Aztecs have been showing, you know, the multifaceted offense. They can throw it deep, they can run it up the middle, they can dump it off and still be effective.
Syke firing in zone, incomplete. That was for Terrazas in double coverage. Second down, pass broken up by Cash.
Very dangerous. Looked like they had double coverage on that one, Cam, and I think they dodged the bullet. .15 to go in the first quarter. Houston trying to hold on after Mexico City has come out ready to fight tonight. Handoff to Bentley, and Bentley is brought down in the backfield. Jason Peace able to get there after the rest of the defensive line. Dre Rohr, Dominguez, and Stover held him up. That was great effort by Peace again. I mean, he is balling out tonight. Third and 10. Empty, 5 wide. Blitz off the edge. It's all picked up just in time for Terrazas' 50th. And Mexico City goes up by 13. Unbelievable. I mean, the Houston defense, they rolled the dice, sent in a couple extra blitzers on defense, and put a lot of pressure on that secondary to cover a lot of ground. And Terrazas was just going to find the opening in that zone coverage and make him pay for it. Wow. The Houston Headhunters giving up 13.7 points per game this season. Last gave up 20-plus points to the Florida Storm, where they gave up 20 in a 30-20 victory. The last time they gave up over 21 was their loss to Washington, where they gave up 26 on the road. You know, Mexico City, their passing yards per game, they're around like 20, 22 in the league. You would never guess looking at how they're throwing the ball around tonight. Syke to start, 6 of 10, 129 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. John Lakeman, 1 of 4 with 2 picks and 30 yards. Definitely not the Lakeman we're used to seeing. Yeah, I mean, we put it out there in the atmosphere, Cam. I'm surprised the game chat isn't making us pay for it. Yeah, they've been kind to us so far tonight. Really like that. Really like that. First and 10 of the 26. Lakeman dropping to throw, and incomplete. Second down and 10. Looking for Toby Bonnets, the rookie, 5'11", 210, who has had an up and down campaign, but still's got to reel that in. Yeah, Osiris was just begging for the ball to be thrown to him so he could lay the smack down. 39 seconds to go in the first quarter. Mexico City up 21-7. Bonnets in motion. Leading receiver is Sim with 37 grabs this season, but he is 0 for 2 so far today. Lakeman is looking down the field, picked by Fowler. He's everywhere. Past the 20, and another short field. The Aztecs are dominating in prime time. And I believe, Cam, that's his first interception of the season as well. That we were talking about the middle linebackers on both teams, man. They're owning the field. Don't throw it. You see 40 out there, throw the opposite side of the field.
Fowler, 89 tackles this season. That's top 30 in the league. 22 TFLs. That's 5th best. And with the night he's having tonight, slowly but surely putting together a potential all-star season. Currently not slated for that list, but neither is anybody else on this Aztec squad, as Bentley will pick up 1 yard. A very balanced Aztecs team. Sakasi on the tackle.
Yeah, I love the fact that Headhunters are showing some urgency here. Put some pressure on that running game. Don't let them have their way. And Houston, we need more of that from Houston. Maybe get a turnover, do something to upset the flow and the balance of the Mexico City offense.
Final play of the first half. This is Sipe into the end zone. Incomplete. Looking for, it was Bill Henry in the back corner of the end zone. 3rd down and 9 coming up at the end of the quarter break. What a first quarter for the Mexico City Aztecs. Nearly 200 yards of offense, and their defense has John Lakeman rethinking life choices. 21-7 Mexico City on top of Houston. We'll be right back. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by Dags Droneworks, aerial photography and videography services for real estate, events, marketing, and more. Learn more at dagsdroneworks.com. It's the Gerald Hines Water Wall Park.
That's cool. I haven't seen that.
Very cool. Good shots by Mr. Dags.
Does not mess around.
21-7. Mexico City on top of Houston. Ron Haynes, Eddie Gage, DJ Kilgannon in the stats truck. Tyler Falk, Chris Curtis, back at VFN Studios. It's Charles Doherty. It's Cameron Irvine here with you tonight as the Aztecs try to prevent Houston from clinching the South tonight and the #1 seed in the league, as that one is hauled in by Jason Bartley.
They sent all of their wide receivers in motion to the top of the screen against 3 defensive backs in zone, but Houston was able to hold tight and keep them to a field goal.
First field goal attempt of the night from Chaz Blackwater. That kick is up and good, and that drive goes a measly 5 yards on 4 plays, but it was all defense for Mexico City. Now 3 forced turnovers tonight to Houston's 1 forced turnover. They have built a sizable lead, and Houston's going to need to chip away at it starting pretty quickly.
I mean, they are the best team in the league with the best record. And, DeMond is probably throwing things around on the sidelines, grabbing on the face mask. This offense is going to have to come out and show a little bit more energy and start putting some points up.
Well, he's frustrated. They've abandoned the run game tonight, Charles. They have the 5th most carries in the league at 344, the 22nd most attempts passing at 219. Yet, we've seen him so far tonight throw for 6 times, run for 5. Those 5 runs getting just 16 yards.
I can do that too. They're 1st in rush yards and 2nd in yards per carry. Your turn.
I wasn't prepared for a fireback, so you win. 1st and 10. Lakeman on a 4-man rush is sacked.
Nice.
Brought down by Dan Tritz, a loss of 5.
2nd sack of the season for Mr. Tritz, and man, just showed total power getting by that offensive line that's been, holding their own so far, but not this time. Tritz is having none of that and just blew through the gap and was able to get right in face the quarterback and shut that play down.
Now Houston can still clinch the #1 seed and the South next week if they beat Bossier City. They just have an opportunity to do it 1 week early tonight. It is not going well so far. 2nd down and 15. It is almost picked and then caught again on the back end, and that was Paul Arnold out there at receive. Man, Houston is discombobulated tonight. 3rd down.
Yeah, and the Aztecs Dumas almost had an interception. Touched the ball about 15 times before it hit the turf.
3rd down, play action. Lakeman on a rollout, and it's off the hands of Sim, who's now 0 for 5. Check that. Corky was the intended target, his first of the night. The Houston fans are beside themselves. They have to punt again.
Yeah, the offense for Houston, they just look off tonight. I don't know if that's because of the gameplay of the Aztecs defense, but got to make some adjustments here because so far they're not firing on all cylinders.
We're not getting what we thought we'd get tonight. The 22nd all-time meeting between these two. Houston leads 11-10. 15 of those 21 previous meetings decided by one score. 9 of those meetings decided by 3 points or less. It is rare to have a large margin of victory, and the only time in this series we've had a margin of victory of over 15 points was way back in season 13 when Houston bludgeoned the Aztecs 47-20. First down, trips off the right side. The handoff goes to Bentley that direction. Peace can't bring him down, but his teammates can. A pickup of just 3.
Yeah, he ran right into the teeth of the defense, and they weren't having any of it.
Henry has been the bright spot of this Houston Headhunter defense so far. Second down and 7, 170 yards already for the Aztecs. Sight going to drop the throw. Fires over to Henry. Henry had a trio of headhunters around him. Third down.
He is getting targeted a lot tonight, Cam. And they had 3 defenders on that play. So I think they're realizing that and starting to shut it down.
3rd and 7. Sight dropping a throw against some pressure. That pass is incomplete, and that was much needed out of Houston. Kai Cash with the knock away from Terrasis, who's now been targeted 8 of the 14 times for Sight.
And just like you said, the defense did what they needed to do, and out comes Lakeman, and offense on his shoulders. He can do it. 6 season veteran. Got to put some points on the board before the end of this half.
From the 21-yard line on the return for Sim up to the 27. Mexico City #1 in the league in rush defense, giving up just 69.3 yards per game. They've surrendered 21 thus far.
Yeah, I just took a look at the stats. I'm amazed that Lakeman's only got 1 completion tonight.
And 3 to the other team.
That's right.
A significant issue here offensively for Houston. They've got Sosa in the backfield. Sosa has been slightly more productive than Scott. 3 carries, 13 yards as St. Green goes in motion. Nickel look for Mexico City in his own. Layton going to throw again on first down, looking to his right, then firing down the middle of the field, and DR Sim able to collect his first ball of the night.
Yep, it's all you need to get a spark going here on offense. It was both Sim and Lakeman executed perfectly. Great route run by Sim and great read by Lakeman to get the ball right when he needed to.
He threw that one a little bit higher, Charles, over the head of John Fowler. Don't think he wanted anything to do with Fowler.
No.
First down at the 47-yard line of Houston. Handoff goes to Sosa. Sosa inside down to the Aztec 45, a pickup of 8.
It was a great adjustment by Sosa to go turn inside to get a couple extra yards. If he would have gone outside, he wouldn't have been going anywhere because Mexico City was just waiting for him.
Second down and 2. Handoff, Baloo Scott. Mexico City all over it. Max Jackson able to combo tackle with Skylar Kingsley up front for no gain.
Yeah, they sent in some rush blitz as well to help out and force them to go inside, and the defensive line for Mexico City just executed perfectly and kept the gain from happening.
Third down, 2. Will they run it again? Yes. Toss play out to Sosa. Slips through for a first down.
Slippery like a wet bar of soap, Cam. I thought he was going to get brought down. Was able to go between 2 defenders just with a little turn of his shoulders.
(24-7) Mexico City. Houston in need of some positive momentum here with 6:20 to go in the first half. They're building towards it, trying to finish it off. Baloo Scott, caught behind a lineman, is going to get one, but Kingsley is going to come up with his second tackle on the drive.
Yeah, to your point, yeah, they're building a little bit of momentum here on this drive. Have to keep executing. It's going to get harder with each yard they go down towards the goal line.
Lakeman dropping a throw. Firing down the middle. DR Sim grabbed that away from Max Jackson. First down for Houston.
Didn't not just grab it, he did it a one-hand grab when he knew that the defender was about ready to light him up, and it was still able to hold on to that ball. I mean, getting hit by Max Jackson, that leaves a mark, but he knew he had to hold on to that. That's a veteran move, and he is very reliable, great resource for Lakeman.
Handoff, that is Sosa picking up 3. And I like what Houston's done on this drive, Charles. It was kind of like they talked on the sideline, all right, we need to settle down, shorten this game, make sure it doesn't get away from us.
Yeah, and start hitting them in the line, start getting the run game going.
Draw, Scott. Baloo inside the 20-yard line, down to the 18, 3rd and 3 upcoming.
I don't hate that play. I mean, it didn't get a first down, but the defense of Mexico City is trying to figure out, are they going to do a run? They're going to do a pass? What are they going to do here?
Looks like a run. They are going to throw. Watch out. Lakeman gets away. Just got enough of the pressure, and it is caught in the back of the end zone. No! Out for DR Sim after Lakeman did everything he could to prevent the sack.
And DR Sim was, yeah, he was standing by the corn dog stand on that catch. That was way out of bounds.
Man, and he had a lot of space back there as well. It'll end up in a Sonny J field goal after a 9-play, 54-yard drive. And that is somewhat disappointing for Houston, who had their shot and had their moment. Jay is 14 of 16 and along of 51 this season. This is from 35. And Jay, with ease, swings the leg and makes it a 2-score game.
They got points, Cam. That's all that matters. I mean, I know they wanted to get 6, but, you know, they had to walk away with something. 3, you know, not perfect, but they've got something to build on. And they've shown an ability to, you know, press that defense of Mexico City.
Coming up on the MNS Halftime Report, analyzing the fast start for Mexico City. What does Houston need to do to get back in it? The current playoff picture, surprises and predictions for the final week, in which of the teams outside the top 4 have the biggest chance to make noise in the tournament. All that and more on the MNS Halftime Report with Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk. The Week 16 schedule has been finalized and is available to view on simfl.net. The boys will be talking about next week and the very exciting slate on our hands. Charles, we're headed to Vegas. Place your bets on how much money we're going to lose next week as Sin City will host Vancouver. The Legion try to wrap up the West potentially if Washington is still in it. And if Washington is not still in it, Vancouver will be trying to wrap up a top 4 seed and prevent a team like Mexico City or Pittsburgh from taking it from them. On Sin City's side, they clinch a playoff spot if they win, and if they lose, Charles, it could be someone else taking their spot, depending upon who wins in Week 16.
That's crazy. Crazy. Hold on.
That's our MNS game next week. That pass is caught by Bartley over the top of the defense and into Houston territory. Just like that, all the momentum that Houston built on that last drive evaporated.
It was sneaky reception there by Bartley. I mean, Bartley, how many times has he been targeted tonight? I don't think he's been targeted maybe 1 time, 2 times. He was able to just find a gap in that coverage and a very accurate pass by side. I mean, incredibly accurate on that sideline.
8 of 15, and has been throwing that corner route quite a bit tonight for a $165, averaging over 20 yards of completion in the first half. As that handoff goes to the Morrison replacement for a 5-yard pickup, John Simon.
Yeah, curious to see. I mean, they snuck in that pass, which was great. Are they going to keep trying to run to get into field goal range a little closer in, or are they going to roll the dice and try and go for the big score?
2nd and 5, toss, Bentley. And he's corralled by a host of defenders, including one Mississippi, who by our count just hit a career milestone with that tackle. Mississippi, 500 career tackles for the 8th season veteran.
Congratulations, and one of the best names in the league. One Mississippi.
Absolutely. 3rd down and 2. Handoff up the middle. Van Dam is shut down by Peace.
Guess who?
4th down.
On defense, it's the battle of the middle linebackers tonight. Both of them are just playing out of their shoes.
So Chaz Blackwater from 48, long this season is 48, 16 of 18. Blackwater, good. Didn't have.
Made it look easy.
It didn't look easy, but he's able to split it through. And Charles, Mexico City answers that Houston field goal right back.
And that's disappointing. It's got to be disappointing for Houston, but again, they've seen some things they can capitalize against the defense of Mexico City, and maybe at halftime here. I mean, they got time to put some more points on the board, but man, it's they found a couple holes on the Mexico City defense they can capitalize on, but I hate to say it, but they're not doing it quickly. They're gonna have to start putting some points up. I hate to jump the gun early, but in this Mexico City, when you give them the ball, they can kill the clock easily. I mean, suck the time off the clock. That's the one thing that Houston has gotta react to. Got to start scoring, and to say bunches, but they got to start doing something.
113-yard difference, just 3.7 yards per play for Houston. They are number 1 in the league coming into the night at 9.5 yards per pass. That has been Mexico City's bread and butter this evening. Lakeman escaping to his left, going to use his legs for the first time tonight and pick up 5. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, everything was covered downfield. Not a bad decision there by Lakeman. Just, you don't want to put Mexico City in a position of advantage here with time left on the clock. You got to milk the clock and try and get some points at the end of it.
2nd and 5. Houston doesn't want to go too quickly because they don't want to give Mexico City another opportunity. And Sosa is down as well.
Oh, that is a huge, huge loss. Again, I said he was one of the best runners in the SFL. You take that player off the field, it's going to make an impact the wrong way.
11 rushing touchdowns for Sosa, part of the 18 rushing touchdowns that Houston has had this season, best in the SFL. 3rd down and 1. Mexico City without Morrison, Houston without Sosa. In the first half, we'll check the injury report at the end of the first half before we kick it to Tyler and Curtis. Lakeman calling a man in motion on a 3rd down and 1. Handoff goes to Scott. Scott breaks off a tackle, gets to the 40, and at least now Houston's drive will continue here, Charles, as they try to be the last ones to possess the ball.
Nothing against Scott. Scott is very solid, if not one of the best rated halfbacks in the league. The problem is when she gets gassed, you're going to have non-contract player coming out.
And there he is, and he fumbled. Max Jackson picks up the recovery. 23 on 23 crime there. That was James Allen coming in, and on his very first carry gets popped and loses the football, the 4th turnover of the night.
Yeah, and Eddie said it perfectly in game chat. When it rains, it pours. Houston has got to do something to grab onto the wheel here, because right now it's going off a cliff.
Side with 90 seconds, and this is the 4th drive of the night that Mexico City will start in Houston territory. It's a 2nd down and 8 coming up for the Aztecs as the time continues to dwindle.
I mean, I'm assuming that Ramos and Dags are going to want to run the clock, but, you know, as they line up with wide, maybe I'm wrong.
Side to throw, wide open, Dumas down to the 26-yard line, and a timeout, Mexico City.
Yep, they could, you know, they get 3 points on the board, and you can't blame them. Plenty of time, and just say the same comment I'll make that we made for Houston. You can't make a mistake here. You got to just capitalize.
Aztecs have all the time and all the timeouts in the world, but they'll be throwing the rest of the way on this drive as Houston's defense has been put in a desperate situation. Wide open Dumas down to the 12. 1 timeout left for the Aztecs.
They just flooded the top of the screen, and zone coverage didn't have an answer. They had two zone defenders against you know, three wide receivers going through their coverage area, and they didn't know what to do.
Both teams have 6 first downs. You wouldn't know it by the way this game has been going, as the Aztecs have dominated the first half, but that pass could have been taken back the other way, instead knocked away by Barnhart, who missed a golden opportunity.
I think Henry hit him when he was trying to catch the ball, too.
Oh, my goodness. Sipe calling Terrazas in motion. An extremely disappointing first half for Houston as the crowd tries to rally their squad. Another missed opportunity for a pick, as that was Dustin Sakasi playing head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Was doing a burpee out there on the field, and the ball went right over the helmet.
Wow, down to the 4-yard line. No timeouts left for Mexico City. Houston's had a couple of opportunities to make a play in the final minute, sending a lot of pressure. Sipe one-on-one, the pass is dropped again. Kai Cash had a chance at it.
Yeah, I'm amazed they didn't try and, you know, out of that multiple wide receiver look. I think they had 3 out, maybe 4, but run it up the middle. I mean, my gosh, you got a Hall of Fame run back out there.
Mexico City trying to cough away that drive will still end up with 3 points out of it. 251 yards in the first half. Blackwater's kick is good, but it keeps the game within the realm of possibility here, Charles, at 30-10. It's a 3-score game. The second half adjustments will be interesting, but maybe a little bit less interesting if Tino Sosa can't come back in this game. The injury report huge at the half.
Yeah, I'm hoping all the injured players come back. I mean, these two, you know, solid teams, you want to see all the best players on the field.
2 yards deep. This is Sim on the return, and not much there, up to just the 22-yard line. 33 seconds. I don't think Houston will press the issue too much here, Charles.
You know what? I was going to say that, but every time I say that, you know, they line up 10 wide.
10 wide. That would be a sight to see.
Here we go.
Trips off the right. Split into the shallow left there. Lakeman just going to hand it off. Sosa is back in the game. That is a monster decision there for Houston and their training staff. That's a huge get back for the Headhunters.
Yeah, and I saw people in the crowd high-fiving each other. That's great news for Houston.
What's not great news is they're not going to get much out of this drive here at the end, as Baloo Scott is going to take the carry, and the time is going to tick away on a first half to forget for the Houston Headhunters, who give up 30 points in the first half In their last 3 games combined, they gave up 26. Your thoughts on the first half, Charles?
Well, I mean, Mexico City came in and just, was doing body blows and uppercuts, and Houston's got to respond. And in some ways, Houston may not agree with me at this point, but I think they kind of needed this. I mean, they were going on a huge win streak, and they needed someone to come in and smack them around a little bit to see how they adjust to it. You want to go deep in the playoffs. This is the type of situation that shows what kind of sauce you got. Let's see what you can pour in the second half.
Lakeman 3 of 11 in the first half, but it could have been much worse. Mexico City had to settle for 3 field goals. Terrazas gets his 50th career touchdown and 97 yards in the first half. We'll check on the injury report for Jacob Morrison before sending it to Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk at the break. Let's see what we got here for Morrison, a dislocated shoulder. So that's bad news for the Aztecs. So we will see what happens with Sosa when we return for the start of the third quarter. For now, let's send it to Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk back at VFN headquarters for the Monday Night Spectacular halftime report. Take it away, fellas.
Thank you, Cameron. The M&S halftime report on your screen now. It is a 30-10 game. Mexico City over the Houston Headhunters as it sits right now. And Tyler, honestly, Houston better be thinking that Lucky Stars is only a 20-point game. This could be a 42-10 score the way this game has gone, but 3 field goals from Mexico City has kept it close.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a tale of 2 commentators here. One's gonna be your corporate. It's all right. We could be down by worse. We see some little bit of movement here at the end of the first half.
You're about to go full savage on Houston, aren't you?
And then I'm gonna be sports commentator, right? I'm gonna be true sports commentator, right? That was ugly. Okay. 4 turnovers. Not all of them is John Lakeman's fault. Run game Sosa got injured. The backup comes in and fumbles. Okay. Forcing too many passes. And unfortunately for their defense is playing as good as you can. This Tex-Mex Louisiana South Division is going to be, there's going to be boat races and there's going to be defensive slugfest. I think Houston came out with a game plan today that was geared toward more a defensive slugfest. And Mexico City said, we're just going to pop the top off on you and show some true championship level form. The same type of form that got them to this point to a championship game last couple of seasons. So I'm sorry, Damon. I can play. It's okay, and I can say it's going to be okay, or I can play true sports commentator and call it like it is, and that's what I prefer to do. But if anyone else in the league decides I should be more soft, then I'll be more soft. So there's that.
No need for soft on this M&S halftime report. Houston has been taking it on the chin in the first half. 3 for 11 Lakeman is right now, although they're not counting the interceptions. So there's that. The Fowler has been a game breaker on defense for Mexico City. Let's talk about him. Several opportunities for him to make plays, and he's come through to keep Houston at bay.
Yeah, absolutely. He can be in the middle of the field disrupting everything, or he can be on the outside on his second interception, being right down the sideline, being able to cover the entire field. So a massive, massive shout for Fowler, showing everyone in prime time why he deserves to be in the all-star category.
Absolutely. Going after his first all-star selection. See if he can go ahead and submit that and get it when the time comes. That said, this game, just one of many dominoes to fall as we look at the full playoff picture updated through this first half of play. As of now, we talked about Houston needing a win to secure the South Division, and Mexico City giving them all they can handle. But Houston not away from that just yet as Mexico City tries to sneak into the top 4. Give me some of your thoughts looking at the top 4 and even really the top 8 and what sneaks out at you.
A couple of big things, right? Denver coming out of nowhere from the last few seasons and finally showing some form. They have been a very good story to watch this season to get up into the top 4. Houston as well. Like, tonight is as we all know, a very rare night where Houston is struggling, but it seems like as has happened in their history have struggled against opponents within their own division. And so there's no real shock factor to tonight, but those maybe watching the outside looking in, knowing it's maybe getting a bit more crazy. However, they can look at the number 2 seed in the playoff picture to say, you know, DC scored 20 points against LA in just 5 minutes to come from a 17-0 lead to come back in this game. Houston can do that too. So unless unless Mexico City wants to end up like LA, Houston's going to have to really pull it together to come back in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at the way this has gone for the playoff picture, I want to touch base with you on the final week. I mean, the schedule's out. We're going to talk a lot more about it come the post game shows. We're going to go through each matchup to see if we can't pinpoint some predictions and who's going to be in, who's going to be out. But I want to know kind of your thoughts looking at that schedule. Do you see a team that is really in danger of potentially losing their spot in that top 12 right now?
In the top 12, I could see Albuquerque. Well, there's a lot of teams on the outside looking in. So, like Minnesota is in danger against Fort Worth. The Adams are in danger against Mexico City. Some very top-heavy teams that are playing against some teams looking to get on the outside looking in. As far as really teams that are concerned, maybe Florida probably the biggest concern. On Sunday night, taking on Carolina. Carolina can come out of nowhere, come away with a 5-7 record, and get both victories against Florida in the season to, by a miraculous turn of fate, come away with the 12th seed with a win against Florida Sunday night. That's where I'm watching, and it's a shameless plug for Carolina, but probably the most interesting and enticing tie of the weekend.
And it's funny you say that because I was talking with Cameron Irvine earlier, and the way that has to shake out is it would go to a third tiebreaker. If Carolina beats Florida this coming weekend, then that puts Carolina in a spot where the first 2 tiebreakers are even. It goes to strength of victory, in which case Carolina takes that matchup and would then leapfrog Florida into that 12th spot. So that is definitely one of the, you call it one of the bottom of the barrel games based on the playoff picture, but really that's a really enticing storyline to look out for come your week 16. So that's something to consider going forward. And then I like to play this game. I want to take a look at the players out of the teams outside the top 4. And I want you to give me your prediction of the team that currently is in the playoff picture that can make the most noise in the tournament. You can take a second one if you want, but give me at least one.
Oh, outside the top 4 that can make the most noise. Right now, as it stands, you'd almost be hard pressed to say anyone other than Mexico City, but I'm going to give it. I'm gonna give it to Pittsburgh right now. A relatively new team to this, and as this playoff picture shakes up right now, Pittsburgh would be playing Florida, and Florida would have to go to Pittsburgh even as a division winner, and a chance to knock out the stalwarts, the multiple-time SFL champions in the wild card round. That in itself would be a massive testament for the Pittsburgh franchise. I'm watching Pittsburgh as it stands right now.
An interesting conundrum for me is Chicago. They have a very different style from really everybody else in the SFL right now. They do not have a contracted halfback on the roster, and yet they're still sitting in the 10 seed in the playoff picture. That says a lot about type attack, but also the Chicago defense. What are they doing that is making teams really have issues with them?
I think it's because they're unique, right? You plan for every other team in the SFL, correct? And each one of those has his tailback. Now you got to worry about the QB sneaks, the QB rollouts, everything that type attack brings to the table on every single game. And you're really preparing for the run in a different way. Makes it more look like the modern era of football, except we're not seeing too many options. It's just straight up quarterback designed runs. and it really messes with the game plan where your defensive line, who you have to say, well, do we try and contain the outside for the QB rollouts, or do we try and pinch and try and get everybody in for the QB sneaks? It really messes up that defensive game plan from the front four on back.
Yeah, it creates a mess when you're trying to put a contain on him because he can just go outside and then throw. And then your contain is busted. So it's a very, very interesting scenario when you game plan against Chicago. And that's my, I mean, you call them a wild card, I guess, but I mean, that's my wild card team that could really make noise in that tournament. So that's a good call. But there is a lot of football left in this one, as the South Division still needs to be decided. It is Houston trying to stage a comeback against the Mexico City Aztecs, defending champions, of course. It's 30-10. We'll see if it gets any closer. Cameron Irvine, Charles Doherty on the other side. We will see you for postgame. We'll go over the Week 16 schedule. Stay tuned for that. Have a good second half, everybody. Let's have a good one as Houston tries to make it.
Welcome back to Houston, Texas. Thank you, Chris Curtis. Thank you, Tyler Falk, as we've got a 30-10 game here for Mexico City and Houston. Charles Doherty, Cameron Irvine with you here. And Charles, you heard the breakdown of everything coming up next week. You know, it's going to be a fascinating race down the stretch because, I mean, especially after tonight, if this score and this result holds, we really have no idea who really is the true favorite right now in the SFL playoff picture, as Greg Corky's got a first down to pick up 14 yards to start the half for Houston.
I may not answer your question directly, but I'm excited about the second half because the best team in the league right now from a record standpoint, Houston, I'm excited to see how they react to this deficit in the second half. I mean, like you said, if they lose, it's going to start shaking stuff up, but I think they have talent on the field and in their coaching, and I'm really excited to see what kind of adjustments they make.
9.5 to go in the third quarter, just getting underway in the second half as Sim goes in motion from left to right. Lakeman with pressure off the opposite side. He throws where the pressure came from and finds Greg Corky to pick up 7 yards. And Lakeman saying, with that beautiful pass. And slip past the coverage.
Can you do that again one more time? We need those types of heads-up passes by Lakeman to, for them to start chipping away at this lead.
I'm happy with Sarah Bergens on that last play, and Tino Sosa back from injury picks up another first down. Morrison will be out of the second half with a dislocated shoulder, but Sosa was back from an undisclosed injury.
Yeah, Sosa's needed out there, but I think this is squarely resting on the shoulders of Lakeman. He's got to be able to, I hate to use that word manage, but he's going to have to manage this offense, get them down the field and start putting some points up.
Hand off to Baloo Scott, and she's unable to go anywhere. Saron Yates, the fourth in his 12th season, makes the tackle. $251 yards for Mexico City in that first half. Houston $150. Lakeman firing. That is caught in a phone booth by DR Sim. Sim is starting to heat up after a slow start, missed on his first 4 targets. Now has 3 on his last 5.
And that was a very accurate pass and a nice decision by Lakeman. I mean, you don't have a lot of time in that pocket when it starts breaking down, but saw Sim open, was able to put it right in the right spot for the reception.
His last 4, rather, as Lakeman drops the throw again, and it's caught again. Corky down to the 22-yard line. First down, Houston. They look a lot more calm and collected here in the third quarter.
Yep, they're a little bit more spring to their step, if you will. But one thing, you can't go too many pass plays in a row. I think you got to mix it up a little bit against this seasoned defense of Mexico City.
Max Jackson on that tackle, up to 11 now, and the fumble recovery. 3 receivers off the right side. The handoff goes to Sosa, breaking off a tackle. Sosa with a hurdle, and Sosa's into the end zone for the touchdown. Let the comeback begin.
That's what they needed to do. And then we're talking about adjustments. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in the locker room to see how Sims, how much equipment he broke, how much Gatorade he threw around, how many juice boxes he stepped on. I don't know. It had to have been a crazy scene there at halftime because they're firing on all cylinders so far.
There were a number of pancake blocks on the outside for Houston. Trying to get a number on that for you. With 7:17 to go in the third quarter, a 7-play, 79-yard drive helps put the Headhunters back in contention, down by 13.
I mean, what a storyline, Kim. We thought Scott was going to be out for good, and then came back in and just pumped a lot of life into this offense.
It was Greg Corky with the double pancake block, and there was also one from Barry Simeon on the line. And now it's Mexico City's turn to respond.
Right, now the pressure's on that Houston Headhunters defense. Maybe get a little more aggressive. Haven't seen a lot of man-to-man out of them. You know, do something just to upset the flow of this offense.
A rare sight, Mexico City with a long field tonight. 4 of their 7 scoring drives started in Houston territory. Handoff to Bentley, will pick up 4.
I mean, Mexico City, you know, even though they're going up against the Houston with some energy on their side, but you know, they're veterans. They've been here before, and they've got the horses to just kind of grind this out and keep Houston in check.
Second down and 6. Heavy up on the line. That is Simon, only picking up 1 with Morrison out. Peace on the tackle, third down.
Peace again. He's not very peaceful in the middle of that field, I tell you that.
7th tackle for Peace tonight. 2 of 5 on, 3 of 9 on third down for Mexico City. Sight gonna roll and fire, middle, caught in one-on-one coverage. That's the first grab for Honus Adobe, and Mexico City will move the chains again.
Yeah, Ingram was in there. They were fighting for the ball. Ingram lost it and just ran out of the camera view. He didn't want to be in the highlights. He just took off.
If I can't tackle him, I won't tackle him. I'm not gonna do it.
Dad's not going to see me on this one.
6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Off that first down, Mexico City's 8. There goes Bentley for their 9th. First down across the 50. Houston's defense still without an answer.
Yeah, they got it. I mean, they're going to risk the downfield pass, but they've got to put some extra folks there in the box because Bentley and that good blocking by the offensive line for the Aztecs, they're gonna start racking them up.
Simon picks up 1 on the carry. That's Peace again on the outside. Yep. 2nd and 9.
Now, I was thinking, Cam, has nothing to do with that play, but there's any way you could feather in explosivity before the game's over?
Definitely will do that. That's an easy one. 2nd and 9. Henry in motion. Halfway through the fast-moving third quarter, Houston has put this up to a 2-score game. This is Sipe against a 4-man rush. Oh, that pass was almost taken away. Incognito and company in coverage. A big third down coming up for Mexico City.
Yeah, Incognito was fighting for his 4th interception of the season, but just barely. Had a fingerprint on it, but it was just barely out of range.
3rd and 9. Just 3 defenders in the picture, potentially covering those 5 wide receivers. Sipe has to get rid of it. It is caught by Bartley. First down for Mexico City as Sipe was running for his life.
And he got hit, and it looked the ball had a little duck action on it, but was still able to be accurate enough for Bartley to bring it in. That's got to be frustrating for that defense.
Very frustrating as you get Sipes updated numbers. Still nearly 20 yards, a completion. 4:26 to go in the third. Mexico City responding again to Houston's scoring drive. Sipe drops to throw, and Terrazas has a 1st and goal.
Wow. I mean, the defense for the Headhunters, when the receivers of Mexico City catch the ball, they're making them pay for it. I mean, look at that hit. I mean, geez, it's hard to get up after that one, but the receivers are showing their strength for Mexico City. They're playing with some tough defenders, and right now they've got the advantage.
Handoff, Simon gonna lose a couple yards. That's Peace again with a TFL, and if Houston can limit Mexico City to a field goal, they'd keep it a 2-score game.
Yeah, he's knocking on the door of double-digit tackles. Almost there.
Sipe, end zone, touchdown.
Yeah.
And that is the
They
third
rolled the
time.
dice, man.
Third time Houston has scored tonight, Charles, and third time Mexico City has responded with a score of their own.
Yeah, they sent the house, it looks, in there to blitz, and we're looking at the first touchdown for Dumas this season. So congratulations, and you're going to have a couple more opportunities, I think, before the season's out.
A 10-play, 78-yard drive that just may have sent the Houston fans into a reality check of maybe we're not clinching the South and the #1 seed tonight, and we'll try again next week. That was a brilliant response from the Aztecs to start the third.
Yeah, I mean, the Aztecs, again, Aztecs on the road coming into Houston. Houston's on a 9-game winning streak, firing on all cylinders, and Mexico City is just matching. Every time they get a punch, they respond with a punch. It's just, they've got a very solid game plan, and I guess they saw some holes on Houston that they're capitalizing on.
Sim takes a knee. What do you, if you're the Houston offense, Charles? I mean, you're watching your defense, #1 in the league, that hardly ever gives up any points. Does that put more pressure on that unit than maybe they've had all season long?
Yeah, I mean, but they've got solid rate. I mean, it's, this is Charles talking. I'm trying to knock holes in Demond. I mean, Demond's been doing this forever, so not to disrespect them, but looks like they've been showing a lot of zone tonight. Maybe mix it up a little bit, because the likes of Jordan Sipe, who's been to the championship games. He's probably seen it all, and you're in zone. He's probably, after a couple passes, he's kind of licking his lips, trying to get a chance to throw the ball into that secondary, because he knows where the receivers are.
2nd and 10, Lakeman dropping to throw. He's got a clean pocket this time, and Sim cannot hang on to it. Max Jackson on the coverage. 3rd down and 10 for Houston. This is, not to bring it up, this is kind of reminding me of Green Bay and Pittsburgh last night. Things are just not working out in the end of the 3rd quarter. Sorry, Alexis. 3rd and 10.
I'm just going to let that marinate. You can't respond to that.
Please let it marinate. Lakeman rolling, firing down the field. That is caught by Sim. And, man, Houston gets out of a big jam there, because that would have been an ugly 3-and-out that took almost no time off the clock.
Yeah, Sim, we've seen him with the touchdowns down the sideline. I think what he really excels at is those catches in the middle. He's able to go in. I mean, that's one of the hardest places on the field to get a completion. And you got to give credit to Lakeman for an accurate pass, but when you throw it to Sim in the middle, he is Mr. Reliable.
Hand off. That is Baloo Scott on the carry, picking up 4. Scott's career sort of rejuvenated in Houston this season. 411 carries, 4.1 yards a carry, 5 touchdowns. 411 yards, I should say.
Yeah, now we're at the point, Cam, where they got to walk around. Well, they got to walk off the field with a touchdown. Yeah. Field goals at this point, I don't think are going to help too much.
Totally agree. Sosa gets a block, then gets a second, but had to cut back inside. And instead it finds John Fowler for a 3rd down and 3.
You know, in these situations where Mexico City is, expecting a run, great time to maybe, fold in a play action or a rollout.
2:05 to go in the 3rd. Corky goes in motion. Lakeman is looking, searching, didn't have anything, and takes a sack. John Osiris making the play for Mexico City, and that will end the drive.
And if it wasn't Osiris, Kingsley had the crosshairs on him as well and was starting to close it down.
Man, a deflating punt there from the Headhunters. Mexico City, a win takes them to 8-3. They still have an opportunity to win the division. They still have an opportunity for a first-round bye, of course, but by winning the division. Pittsburgh has a chance to win the North. All they got to do is beat Baltimore next Sunday. They could be 9-3. I mean, we could potentially, if Bossier City pulls a massive upset next week, I mean, we could have 6 teams all with the same record at the top of the standings. I don't think that's ever happened before. Bentley.
So what
picks up
happens
2.
and if Mexico City and Houston both finish at 9-3? That's possible,
Tonight,
right?
correct. That tonight's head-to-head would be the determining factor, and Mexico City would win the South.
It takes a while for it to sink into my noggin.
Hey, I bet you're not the only one at home happy to help. This is what I do.
Dial 1-800-IRVINE.
ASMRU playoff tiebreaks. Second down
Questions
and 8.
about the SFL playoff standing? Sorry.
Up to Buford Van Dam to pick up 5.
1-800.
This is how you make the postseason.
Press 2 for wild card. Press 1 for division winner.
Sipe, 4-man rush, and overthrew it. Henry was there, but the most important thing is that Houston managed to get a stop, and they'll get the football back.
Yeah, they needed it. But again, we're at quick score time. They're built for it. Houston's built for it with that wide receiver core. Let's see what they can do.
On the 34.
Oh my gosh.
Sim obliterated. Max Jackson. Wow.
Oh, and you know what? Sims got up, man. Max Jackson, he is the he's Mr. Diamondback, man. He hits you and you feel it. And Sims just saw that coming in his face. He was able to jump right up and walk to the sideline.
Sim got folded up like a beach chair.
He was doing a chalk outline of me on the field if that was me taking that punt return.
1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Down by 20. It's still a possibility. Sosa with a stiff arm gets around Jackson and hustling to make the play. Saron Yates the fourth says, "Is this what the out-of-bounds line looks like?"
Where am I? What part of the field is this?
End of the 3rd quarter, Mexico City 37, Houston 17 in a rare blowout for the Aztecs against the Headhunters. Houston trying to make one last stand here on their first drive of the 4th quarter. A brilliant crew tonight with you here. Eddie Gage, Ron Haynes, DJ Kilgannon in the stats truck, Tyler Falk, Chris Curtis with you back at VFN Studios, Charles Doherty, and Cameron Irvine here with you in the broadcast booth. 37-17. Houston trails by 20, winners of 9 in a row. The Aztecs pulling the upset here on MNS as Sosa doesn't get much. 3rd down.
All right, it's past time. You gotta get something going. Don't need to go deep down and keep the drive alive.
The last time Mexico City beat Houston by more than 14 points was season 8 when they beat the Houston Hyenas 42-27. This pass is caught by Bonnets. First down for Houston.
That was a great look there by Lakeman. Not a lot of time. You got to make a split-second decision right there. The defenders are starting to close the gap, and he was able to find the wide receiver.
John Lakeman started 2 of 8 with 3 interceptions. Since then, he is 6 of 11 with no picks. He's bounced back, Charles, and it's been a part of how Houston has managed to hang around in this game. Their defense hasn't done them much favors tonight, as Lakeman will again fire in the middle, and Bonnet's got a block for Sim to help him pick up another yard or 2, just shy of the first down.
And they're moving it down the field. Just got to keep that up. They got to walk away with the 7 on this one.
Most importantly, they got to score before that 5-minute mark. They've got to extend this game out a little bit more as the handout off goes to Sosa, picking up the first down at the 35-yard line.
I mean, so at this point, there's still time on the clock to use Sosa. You know, he showed his effectiveness on that run there, but another element we haven't seen a lot of is passing game to the halfback. I mean, Sosa, a swing pass, I think, could move a long way down the field.
Lakeman under center, going to send St. Green in motion. Houston running their normal offense until under 5 minutes to go in the 4th. Back to pass. John incomplete.
That was weird.
Looking for Bonnets again.
You see how the 2 receivers were standing next to each other?
Yep. That's
man.
not what you want out of a route tree.
No. This is my spot. No, it's mine.
Like 2 siblings fighting.
That's right. Not a lot of explosivity on that play.
Now, wait a minute. Do I still need to use it, though?
You waited too long, man.
What do you mean I would? No. You got to let that marinate. Lakeman back to throw. Has time. And the pass is caught wide open. Daisy Peace, welcome to the game. Her first target gets them in for first and goal.
Talk about marinate. That offensive line, man, they had some rib roast back there marinating in wine, and had plenty of time for Lakeman to survey the field and find a wide open Daisy Peace.
First and goal at the 4. Aztecs up by 20, but Houston is not going to go away quietly. They're 9-1 for a reason. Lakeman to throw, fires middle, almost picked. Liam Ryan stepped in front of it.
Damn, they had the halfback wide open in the flats. I know it moves fast there, and it's easy for me to throw those great ideas out there, but
Lakeman wants that one back. Second and goal at the 4. Torneo Rivera, the fullback who got touchdown vultured earlier in the first half, is back there. That's Corky in motion. Corky also sitting 1 touchdown away from a milestone, but Sosa's going to get this one off the left side, beating John Osiris. It's a 2-score game with 7:36 to go. Anything is possible.
Tip of the cap to Houston. They did what they needed to do. Now the pressure is solely on the shoulders of that defense. They've got to disrupt, got to cause a turnover or get a punt, and not take a lot of time off the clock, because the clock is not their friend, Cam.
Rivera, a nice cleanup block, and here in the second half, 4 of our 5 drives in the game have resulted in points, 3 of them touchdowns, 9 plays, 66-yard, 2-minute and 42-second drive for the Headhunters, who are now just 40 yards behind Mexico City in the total yards department. This is going to be a monster drive, but remember, Charles, each of the first 3 times that Houston has scored tonight, Mexico City has responded with a score of their own.
They definitely have. But we've got to see some aggression on that Houston defense. I know we've seen it tonight, but man, maybe throw a little bit of man in there, do something they haven't seen to get psyched to make a mistake.
Empty to start the drive. And pressure, and caught. Terrazas Wow, what ball placement there from Jordan Sipe with the pressure from, I believe, Stover bearing down.
Yeah, that was in between two defenders, like you said, and just the accuracy was just incredible by Sipe. I mean, there's not much you can do on the defense when you're covering that tight, other than hit the quarterback in the backfield.
I actually think it was Blake B. Craze screaming off the edge there. It is, as Craze tried to get there again, and Dumas with a catch, and a block, and another, all the way down to the Houston 38. They are untouchable offensively tonight.
Holy, that is, again, I've said it a couple times, so frustrating for Houston. I mean, they came off that, strong drive, and now, Mexico City offense gets the ball. They're just, hacking away at the defense and driving down the field at will.
304 passing yards for Jordan Sipe, one of his better games of the season. 1st and 10, they'll go empty and keep it in his hands.
Eddie's got 305, so he's going to have to step it up in the booth.
That's just cool. Sipe, incomplete. One of the best hits of the night by Chris Henry, perfectly timed to set up 2nd down and stop the clock with 6:30 to go.
More of that. We need more of that, Cam. And a lot of that should be focused on the quarterback. Quarterback needs to be hit. I don't think, do we have any sacks against Mexico City? Maybe, no, we don't.
Not a one. Sipe's last 300-yard performance was July 26th against Baltimore. He had 345. Up to 304 right now as Sipe drops to throw. He will fire. That is incomplete. Incognito with the deflection. Back-to-back incompletions. 3rd down and 10, just outside of field goal range for Mexico City.
I took my vision off the screen for a second. Did they line up in man on that one?
Oh, man.
It looks like they're showing it here. They're showing a lot more in the second half than we saw in the first.
I agree. 3rd down and 10. 5 of 12. They've converted their last 3. Sipe's pass caught. 1st down to the Houston 25. Jason Bartley on a rope.
Cam, the coverage is tight. The offensive line is just, given the time for the quarterback. And if you give a quarterback that much time, he's going to whittle away. And you could have the best defense downfield, but if you get the quarterback all day, eventually the wide receiver is going to be open.
Sipe up to 319. As Mexico City tries to salt this one away, under 6 minutes to go. Responding ever so not politely again to Houston's offense. Look at that. 1st down, Bill Henry. Jordan Sipe is unconscious on this drive.
Yeah, he's having a heck of a game. Heck of a game. And this is the time for Houston, leading the league in wins. They've got to, dig their heels in and cause a turnover and get that ball back. I mean, that's what, championship teams do. That's what teams that go deep in the playoffs do. They've got to take control of this game right now.
Couldn't agree more, Charles. Empty backfield. Sipe going to try to give him another opportunity. Houston's defense been pretty good in the red zone. That pass is caught by Dumas down to the 5-yard line. Mexico City's been willing to pass and take chances down on this end of the field, and, Houston's got to capitalize.
On that play, you could kind of go back and forth. I mean, it's like a short pass, and it's almost like a run. You keep the clock ticking, just dump it off.
2 in the backfield. This time they'll toss it to Ray Bentley. Bentley bouncing off a tackle, reversing field, and then dropped by the Hall of Famer Alex Dominguez in the backfield. That, for Alex Dominguez, is a milestone TFL. He now has 350 on his career most all time.
Amazing. And congratulations. What a beast. What an impact on that tackle as well.
3rd down and goal, knocking Bentley backwards. They did give him forward progress. It might not have been a TFL after all. That would be a shame for Dominguez. 3rd down and goal, 4:19 to go. They're going to hand it off, and nothing doing. So Houston's defense able to just barely, as Garrett Evans makes the tackle, keep this a 2-score game and give their offense one last shot.
Yeah, I mean they dug their heels in. I know they wanted a turnover on that series, but back into the hands of John Lakeman. See what kind of magic he can do.
Blackwater's kick is good. 10 plays, 76 yards, 3 minutes 44 seconds left on the clock. And here we go.
Here we go. Who was the when Dominguez played at Alaska and Florida? He had who was his other defensive tackle? I just remember the two of them just wreaked havoc.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Sorry, off script here.
An SFL historian.
Sorry,
can
Mike.
help us out with that. Alex Dominguez and his partner on the line.
That's a question for chat.
That's a good one. Alex Dominguez, Defensive Player of the Year, season 8, 9, 10, and 11. 5-time All-Star. Also played in Atlanta as well. This is a play-action rollout from Lakeman. That pass is incomplete. The receiver wasn't even looking. Now, I do remember the Tallahassee Pride, Charles. Tyquan Hale and...
oh, yeah.
Who was the... Well, now I can't remember the other side. They were a 1-2 punch, too, back in the day. Maybe it was Hunter Norwood.
Maybe.
2nd and 10.
That was on Jacksonville, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jacksonville, Tallahassee. That pass incomplete. Jackson with the deflection. So now it's quickly 3rd down and 10 for Houston. Now the good thing for the Headhunters is they've been pretty good on 3rd down in the second half, 2 for 3.
Yeah, and Mike St. Green's been pretty quiet tonight. Only targeted twice. Now's the time to slip him in and get a big gain.
3rd down and 10 for Houston, their last stand. Roll out to the left, buys Lakeman more time. That pass is, it's caught and then dropped. Sim over the middle, so reliable, but now it's 4th down, broken up by Gerard Brody.
That was an impressive hit on the Hall of Famer. I mean, holy smokes.
4th and 10, Lakeman out of the empty, needs the 30-yard line, or they're going 4 and out on this opening possession of desperation. Lakeman's pass is deflected. Jeffrey Daggs, Mexico City will take over in scoring territory, and barring a disastrous turnover, that's a wrap.
You know what? There was some fight in Houston, but at this point, I don't think it was enough to win the game. I mean, Mexico City just came in on the road again. I mean, going up against a 9-game winning streak, and just great playbook, great execution on the field. I mean, very impressive.
The ups out of Jeffrey Daggs, the future Air Forceman, looking for MSG on that carry, or on that pass attempt, rather, as Bentley on the carry. Picks up 3, but the clock is the biggest enemy.
Oh, sorry.
But yes, Jeffrey Daggs.
Be proud. That's awesome. That's awesome.
.305 to go in the 4th quarter. Airman is the proper term, says Tyler Falk. I knew that he would chime in eventually. Under 3 to play. Handoff. And not much doing there. Mexico City playing it safe. Charles, the odds of fumbling are exponentially low, although they do have 5 on the season, but they've taken care of the ball pretty good tonight.
Well, and as soon as you put that out there.
Hey, I'm just trying to make the last 2.5 entertaining.
That comment had a ton of explosivity in it.
I was hoping for a great touchdown, a great moment, just the perfect opportunity. We just never got it.
I win king of explosivity.
And off you from Van Dam. You've been listening to your wife too much. 4th down coming up. 2 minutes to go. 40-24. Mexico City on top of Houston. Wow. The Headhunters might have some thinking to do as they will continue to possess the #1 record in the SFL, but things just got a little tighter, not only in the South, but at the top of the standings that are extremely crowded. Chaz Blackwater has been busy. This is field goal number 5 to put it away, and 9 scoring drives tonight for Mexico City.
I tell you what, I mean, Houston, if I was a coach on Houston, I wouldn't be happy with the result on here. But you know what? Sometimes you need a punch in the face in order to, write your course, figure out what you need to do. And right before the playoffs is the best time for that to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you, Charles. I mean, if it had to happen, it's probably good that it happened tonight. All you got to do is take care of Bossier City next week. Mexico City would still have to beat Albuquerque, who in their own right is desperate to make the playoffs. They have to get a win. That's going to be a huge game for the Adams next week, so they're going to bring Mexico City their A game. The Aztecs, 6 straight scoring drives dating back to halfway through the second quarter.
They played perfect, all facets of the game.
What a week next week. It gets started with Fort Worth and Minnesota, both 5 and 6, both needing a win to stay alive in the playoffs. That starts on Halloween night as Lakeman's pass is intercepted by Jeffrey Daggs. Daggs got up even higher for that one to take that one away, the 5th turnover for Houston. Then Saturday, you got Denver and Washington. Of course, the Night Wings are trying to lock up a top 4 seed. Washington needs a win to stay alive in the West Division race. Another important game on Saturday is Arizona. They need a win to clinch a playoff spot. They host Queen City, who has now been eliminated. And then on Sunday, a pair of divisions will be decided. The winner of Florida and Carolina will win the East. And if Pittsburgh wins over Baltimore, they will win the North. If they do not, the DC Dragons will win that division as Houston calls a timeout. And then it's Vancouver, Sin City on Monday night with us.
Yeah, I'm really the way Pittsburgh's been playing. I mean, they've been. I mean, obviously I'm cheering Arizona on all the way, but man, my second is definitely Pittsburgh because I don't think many people would have expected them to be where they are this season, and I'm always root for the underdog.
And speaking of underdogs, huge credit to Minnesota going into Pittsburgh this week, saving their season and winning that game. Carolina saved their season, topping Sin City earlier this week as well. We had quite a bit of upsets this week. Lexington getting a big win. Another close loss for Queen City last night as Fort Worth kept their season alive. Ray Bentley's got a first down with the 28, and that is curtains because Houston's out of timeouts and we got knees.
Yep. I mean, they're built for this. They can burn the clock off with the best of them.
Well, Charles, who's your player of the game tonight? There's plenty to choose from on a very talented Mexico City squad.
Well, on defense, I'm going to give it to Fowler because he's been all over the place.
And he set the tone, too.
And set the tone. On offense, it's got to be Sipe. I mean, 122.3 QBR, 4 touchdowns, 60% completion percentage, almost 340 yards. He came. It's hard. Those are numbers that are delightful to have when your quarterback's on the road. I mean, that just shows you've got an all-star caliber, championship caliber quarterback can do that on the road.
The last time Jordan Sipe threw for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in a game was February 17th, 2024. He did that against Baltimore, but in that game, he threw 5 interceptions. The last time that Jordan Sipe threw 4 touchdowns over 300 yards and had 1 or fewer picks, never. 3rd down.
Great game plan by Ramos and Daggs.
Mexico City will improve to 8-3. They have Albuquerque next week, fighting to keep their postseason hopes alive. We have the scenario show next week on Saturday with 3 games remaining. We'll go over the 8 remaining scenarios in the SFL. Unfortunately, we'll be without our Jack's Data aficionado, Hunter Norwood, so we'll all have to pitch in a little bit more with that genius out of the picture due to work obligations. But 43-24, Mexico City tops Houston and wins by 19 to keep the South alive for the 2-time defending champs. Your final thoughts, Charles?
Mexico City just sent a message to any team that's challenging for the playoffs. You know, you don't want to play us in the playoffs because we're coming at you. Impressive win. I did not expect it to have this many points on the board. I think I said that at the top of the call. Thought we're going to see a lot of rushing, but mixed it up. Over 300 yards by Mexico City. You know, I think they're the team to have your crosshairs on going into the playoffs, because if they're going to play like this in the next game, they're going to be hard to beat.
43 points is the most points that Mexico City has scored against Houston since the season opener of season 7, when they won 52-41. 43-24 is your final in Houston. Thanks to DJ Kilgan and Ron Haynes and Eddie Gades in the stats truck. Thanks to Charles Doherty, my friend and analyst. I'm Cameron Irvine. Let's send it to Tyler Falk and Chris Curtis for postgame as we preview Week 16 and wrap up tonight's Monday Night Spectacular. Take it away, gentlemen.
Thank you, Cam. Thank you, Charles. Great call as always. Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk with you in the MNS postgame report. And Mexico City comes up with a large-scale win over the right now 1 seed Houston Headhunters. Tyler Falk, let's break it down. Mexico City was a defensive powerhouse, and then Jordan Sipe doing what he does.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very good show of force from the Aztecs, and it's a statement with a team that really doesn't need a statement. A statement saying, no matter what place we are, we're the team that's in. They are the new Baltimore of the league, the team that everyone's always watching to figure out, are they on? Where's the chink in the armor? Where can we find that one little bit? Right now, Mexico City has got it. And it showed with a great performance from men like Fowler, Dags, Itera, you name it, just being able to force turnovers, to force their will on the Houston offense. Really unable at really anything for John Lakeman to do. He started out 3 of 11. He finished with just 11 receptions. Not the best day from Lakeman, but it's more, I think, it's not necessarily Houston's fault in a lot of ways. I think it is more Mexico City's fault for being able to force Lakeman into unfavorable situations. Not the best game plan from the defensive side from Houston, allowing Mexico City to really run roughshod over them. That ultimately decided today's game.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think you hit it on the head. It was more about what Mexico City did versus what Houston didn't do. Though it was Houston not losing so much, losing this game as Mexico City just taking it. So very, very good work from both teams, and maybe creating an entertaining game all told, even with the somewhat lopsided score. 428 total yards of offense for Jordan Sipe and that Mexico City offense. You called it. They ran roughshod. And what does it mean for them being the defending champs a couple times over, that the bullseye just gets bigger for them, and they just continue to play to the pressure and win key games like this one? What does a team got to do to get a win against Mexico City, road or home?
You have to be able to embody the 1980 men's Olympic hockey team. You don't defend them, you attack them. You attack them where they have struggled. And that's been a very rare case. You cannot really go after or defend a certain part of their game. You have to play your game. You have to play your game to the best possible areas of the game you can, because you're not going to directly compete with Mexico City. You're not going to directly compete with this rolling force. You have to be able to say, you know what? We're going to allow points here and there, but we have to be able to score more and defend in the right areas. Where I think Houston could have done better, and Charles Doherty on the call mentioned it, is throwing a little bit more man coverage to defend some of the passes. We saw a lot of passes being fit into wide open areas of the field where there is no zone coverage. We saw passes being thrown and threaded right in between zones to different receivers. So in this regard, either that's one way that Houston's like, all right, we're going to play zone, we're giving up everything else, and that means the offense has to be better. The offense has to be able to find a way to combat this very strong Mexico City defense. And so it's not necessarily defending and protecting about what Mexico City does well, but it's executing a perfect game plan on your own to combat Mexico City.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And that'll put a bow on what week 15 has for us as we look ahead to the final week of SFL action. And it starts off on Halloween. You know how this game works, Tyler. You pick one, I pick one. What is your look? You got Fort Worth, Minnesota, Lexington, LA, Chicago, Oklahoma City, creating your Halloween spectacle of spooky sights. Give me a game and why.
Well, how about we go with that opener? Let's go back home to Fort Worth and Minnesota. St. Paul is going to be buzzing. 2 times the Legend have played Fort Worth. Both times have been in Texas. Now the roles are reversed. Fort Worth won both times, both with a margin of victory of larger than 10 points. Minnesota has their work cut out for them if they even want to sniff the playoffs. They have to beat the Toros because right now Toros hold the advantage and hold the momentum.
Yep, and right now Minnesota on the outside looking in from the playoff picture. They need a win. I'm going to take a look at Chicago and Oklahoma City. We talked about it a little bit at halftime. The fighting type attacks and the rest of the Chicago Warriors. It is the offense that is the most unique in the SFL. They go against an Oklahoma City team that's struggling. Chicago needs to go in, take care of business, and keep themselves in the playoff picture. And they're in the 10 spot right now, and a loss could hurt them and possibly even knock them out. So they need to take care of business there. Lexington and LA, your other game, that's a good one. Gabriel Manning against the LA Lycans. Lycans have played better than their record at some points this season, and Lexington has as well. So that's a couple of teams there likely to try to close out their season with a win. Let's look at Saturday. Halloween's done. We are into the month of November, November 1st, and we have Denver, Washington, and a must-win game for Washington. Denver trying to lock in a 4 seed. Queen City, Arizona, Albuquerque, Mexico City, who we just saw, and then the possible division clincher take 2, Houston at home against Bossier City. Give me your game.
I've got Denver and Washington, and in this game, again, you already really covered it, but for me, it's a tale of these two teams resurging and finally starting to play some very good football over the last couple of seasons. Both teams in season 23 were 3-9. Last season, both teams make the playoffs the first time in at least 6 seasons for both squads. You have 6 seasons for Washington and St. Louis and Motor City franchise. For Denver, you have 7 seasons all the way back in season 16 is the last time before season 24 is when Denver made the postseason. That's also when they won the championship. I digress. This is a season for A, Washington, and for B, Denver, to say again that this, I think, should be almost the undercard, like the third place game for the SFL Championship, because these two teams have done a remarkable job over the last couple of seasons to play good football, and for Denver looking for their best record, to continue their best record for the first time since they won the championship all the way back in season 16. It's a good shout for them right now, already with an 8-win record, but a win against Washington to really solidify that 4 seed would really help their cause. For Washington, they really needed a lot of help elsewhere, but certainly a win at home, and they've won twice against Denver in the last 2 meetings.
There you go. That's a good setup, and the other 3 games really have intriguing reasons to watch, and I'll go over a couple of them. But my game to watch: Houston and Bossier City. What kind of adjustments does Demond Simeon and the Houston coaching staff make to take on a Bossier City team that they, in theory, should beat? But that's why the games aren't played on paper. But Houston needs a win to solidify that number 1 seed. They need a win to solidify that division and really go in to the playoffs on a high note and keep some momentum. On the other side, Mexico City trying to sneak into one of the top 4 spots. They need to win and need some help to get that done, but they have Albuquerque coming in, and the Williams brothers and family are going to give them a rough go. I have a feeling, so that should be a fun game to watch. And then it's Queen City, Arizona. Arizona needs to win to clinch a playoff spot. Queen City may be eliminated, but if there's anything we know about the guys from Buffalo, guys and gals from Buffalo, they compete, and they compete every single week, regardless of what their record may be. So that all 3 of those games should be good, but Houston, Bossier City has my eye. Sunday is a game of divisional battles. It is November 2nd, and it is a big couple of games. Florida and Carolina. It's a win and in scenario for Carolina. It's a win and in scenario for Florida. They're already sitting in the 12th spot, but they have to go to a raucous David A. Richardson Memorial Stadium. And by tiebreakers, if Carolina wins that game, they will leapfrog Florida and take the East Division from the Florida Storm. That's a big one. And then Baltimore and Pittsburgh fighting for the North Division. Pittsburgh wins, they get the North. Baltimore not having the season they would have liked, but Pittsburgh trying to get themselves into a top 4 spot as well. What do you see from both these games? Which one are you looking at biases excluded?
Well, bias is excluded. I'm still taking the Pittsburgh and Baltimore game, but one quick programming note from Saturday is that the Queen City, Arizona game will be the last game that Queen City plays as the Corsairs. Announced earlier tonight, Ryan Davis has decided to relocate the Queen City Corsairs, the longest standing, the original SFL champions, to Anchorage, Alaska, to become the Wolfpack. That news just coming in shortly before 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time tonight. So it's actually one of the longest going matchups between Queen City and Arizona. So that's going to be a fantastic game to watch. Lots of history for the Corsairs, obviously, but a third game on Saturday to watch. A sayonara, a farewell for the Corsairs. Meanwhile, back to the game at hand on Sunday. Baltimore and Pittsburgh. This has a lot more meaning to it than people would realize. Baltimore, of course, this is their final season. They could go on a high note. They could get in the playoffs one final time, make a run, and keep going. Pittsburgh, the upstarts, spurred them last season, a game that nobody saw coming. A 38-17 victory for the Riverhogs in Yinzertown. This is a massive, massive revenge game for the Baltimore Vultures in their final regular season game. This has much more implications than do we go on a high note? Do we get revenge and still show Pittsburgh you still have to respect your elders? You still have to respect the Vultures. I'm sure everybody in Baltimore is looking forward to this game. I have no doubt Pittsburgh is as well. Besides the Carolina game, this is what I'm watching on Sunday.
Yeah, the other thing too is the emotional part of this is Baltimore, of course, like you said, closing down operations after the season, and there's a lot of history in Baltimore, Maryland for the SFL and everybody involved. So look to send a proper farewell to the Vultures as they are constructed currently. That's the Saturday slate or Sunday slate, sorry, and then Monday. The Monday night's which has a chance to be really spectacular. If Washington wins, it makes that game a whole lot more interesting. Vancouver goes to Sin City. Let's talk about it. Vancouver could wrap up the West.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic game. The Sin City Samurai, they're definitely gambling in Vegas, and what a way to end it. A different league had their championship in that game not just a few weeks ago, and we are really looking forward to yet another titanic clash between Vancouver and Cincinnati. Sin City. I apologize. I'm thinking SFL convention. I'm thinking Sin City. I'm thinking the thing is Vancouver's going to have to deal with another team, in the Pacific Northwest. They're going to have to deal with a team in Alaska again for the first time in, maybe ever in their franchise history. So here's the big thing, right? Vancouver has to get the job done here to show the incoming Anchorage Wolves that they're still the team in the West, because I'm pretty sure that Ryan Davis is going to try and and rekindle some things from the old Corsair days to get things going. And for Sin City, how much of a spoiler could they be, and a chance for them to solidify themselves in the postseason hunt with a win against the top dogs in that division, or could be top dogs in that division. It's going to be a fun match. I can't wait to be here 1 week from now. Watch this game.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a lot of fun. And by then, we'll know the rest of the table as is constructed. So, good stuff from the week 16 of the SFL's regular season, 25th regular season, as we try to close it out on a high note. But so, one more week of real good football coming up for the rest of the Monday night crew. It's Charles Doherty, Cameron Irvine, all of our statisticians. Tyler Falk, I'm Chris Curtis saying goodbye and good night from Houston. We will see you guys in just a few days' time for the start of a very climactic week 16. Have a good night, everybody.